In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create this simple teleportation effect inside of After Effects.
Let's get out of here.
So this shot here is from my most recent short film, Do Not Enter, that was made for the Minneapolis 48-hour film project. And the effect that I'm going to show you today actually won us the Best VFX Award. So go check it out when you get a chance. I'll leave a link here somewhere. But enough of me rambling, let's get to the effect. The effect is actually pretty simple. It's 3 built-in effects inside of After Effects, no third-party or plugins required, and a simple camera shake. Before we hop into After Effects, we need to first set up the shot that we're going to be applying the teleportation effect to. You can use whatever editing software you prefer. In this case, I'm using DaVinci Resolve. For filming, we set up the camera on a tripod and had our actress pause right before we wanted the kids to disappear. We had them get out of the shot, and then we had her complete her action. Then, when editing, we simply make a cut from the pause point to the frame where she starts the action again to make it seem like they teleported away. From there, we exported this sequence and brought it into After Effects. Really quick, another way to shoot this would be to film a clean plate and then simply have your talent walk in and perform their action or line. Then you would simply cut from the clean plate to the shot of them in the frame. Shooting on a tripod would be the preferred method, but you can also do handheld because this effect will help cover up the cut. Once you have your exported shot inside of After Effects, what you'll need to do first is add an adjustment layer. I'm going to go ahead and name my adjustment layer Teleport Effect. So then you're going to want to find the teleport point of your shot. So that's going to be the point just before they get out of frame. They disappear on this frame. This is the shot. This is the point we want to identify. And then what we're gonna do is just gonna go ahead and drag like a marker over here. And so this marker is just gonna be just for reference, just so we can, because we're gonna be coming back to this a lot, and just so it's easy to identify. So then what you're gonna go ahead and do is you're gonna add the Turbulent displace effect. And then you're gonna go back 5 frames from the teleport point. And then you're gonna add a keyframe on the amount and size properties. Oops, not offset, amount and size. And then you're gonna set the amount to 36 and the size to 2. I'll say this a lot throughout the entire tutorial. All these numbers are just numbers that I came up with through trial and error during making the effect. Not saying that they're right or wrong, because you can just do whatever works best for you, but this is the numbers that worked for the effect when I was making it. So we're gonna hit U to bring up the keyframes here. Keyframes for the amount and size, 36 and 2, and nothing else changes right now. So we're gonna go back to the teleport point. Here, we're gonna go forward 2 frames, and then we're gonna set another keyframe for the amount, and we're gonna change the amount to 45.9. And then we're gonna go forward another 3 frames and set a keyframe for the size. Now the size, we're gonna have that go up to 55. And then we're gonna finally go forward another 11 frames and set the last keyframes for the amount and size, bringing the amount down to 0 and the size back to 2. At this point, you should have something that looks like this. It's a very subtle effect. The kid who's in the middle, he's the one that has the teleportation powers. So we want to make it look like the power is kind of like affecting the environment around them. And before we go forward, what we're going to do is we're going to just draw a mask on the adjustment layer, and we're going to just mask around the kids. Why we want to do that is we just want the teleportation effect just to be where they are. We don't want it to affect the entire frame. And then we're going to go into the mask properties down here, and we're just going to feather this a ton. And so now you can see that the kind of the turbulent displace, that waviness is just where the kids are at right now. Okay, so that's looking much better there. It's starting to come together a little bit, but there's some more that we can do. So the next effect that we're going to add here is the CC glass effect. So we're just going to CC glass and add that. And if anyone's wondering what I'm doing to add the effects, this is the I believe it's the FX console from Video Copilot. It's a free plugin that you can install from Video Copilot. It just makes searching up effects much simpler. So back to what I was saying, we have the CC glass effect, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go to where those first keyframes are for turbulent displace here, and we're going to go to the CC glass effect, and we're going to go under the surface properties, and we're going to set keyframes for softness, height, and displacement, and we're going to set all of those to 0. Everything else stays the same. You don't need to touch light or shading. And then we're going to go to the teleport point, and then we're going to go 2 frames past it, and then we're going to change the softness to 49.6, And then the height, we're going to adjust to -77. And then the displacement, we're going to change to -27. Just a bunch of random numbers there. Okay, then we're gonna go 6 more frames, and then we're gonna bring all these back down to 0. Okay, now this is what the effect should look like. It's still very subtle, but now those like warps from the turbulent displace are a little bit more defined. You know, there's a little bit more texture, highlight to them, kind of just like making them pop a little bit more and making them seem just a little bit more three-dimensional. And then we're gonna add our final effect. Like I said, it's only 3 effects. Our final effect is gonna be the glow effect. So just the built-in glow for After Effects. And then again, we're gonna go to that same spot where all the keyframes begin here. And then we're going to hit the stopwatch, set a keyframe for glow intensity, and we're gonna set that to 0. And then we're gonna go to the teleport point, and we're gonna bring the glow intensity up to 0.8. And then we're gonna go forward 9 more frames. Then we're gonna bring that glow intensity back down to 0. Okay, now we're gonna go into the glow effect, and we're gonna tweak a couple settings here. So we're gonna change the glow threshold to 33.8% and glow radius to 130. Again, like I said, adjust these to your liking. This is just what worked for me. And then we're going to change the glow color. Right now you can see it's kind of like this orange yellow glow. And for the film, we want it to be more of a blue glow. So we're going to change the glow colors. So we're going to go from original colors, we're going to go to AB colors, and then we're going to change the A color to a blue. I'll put the hex codes on screen here for you to see. Boom. Okay, so now we have a blue glow. After doing that, this is what your teleportation effect should look like. So as you can see, the glow is helping to sell the effect more. You know, it's making it seem more like a superpower, something that's more intentional, and on top of that, it just looks cool. So lastly, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a camera shake. That's just gonna help tie everything together. It's also gonna help hide the cut point. We're gonna first start by adding 2 slider controls to the footage layer. So slider control, if you don't know where slider control is, if you go to the effect, it's under expression controls, slider control. So you add 2 slider controls. Next we're gonna bring up the position property of the footage layer. Make sure the footage layer is selected, hit P to bring up position. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna Alt or Option click on a Mac, the stopwatch. And so that's gonna allow us to add an expression to the position. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the wiggle expression. If you're not familiar with the wiggle expression, it's just gonna add random movements to whatever property that you apply it to. Once we add the wiggle expression, you know, it kind of just like, it just starts shaking. This could be good in some instances, but what we want is like a little more control over the shake. So this is where the slider controls are gonna come into play. We're gonna go back to the expression here, just hit this arrow, see this expression. We're gonna replace the numbers in here with the slider controls, and that's gonna give us our control over the wiggle expression. So select the 10, we're gonna take the pick whip here next to the expression, and we're gonna click and drag up to slider control 1. And so now you have the effect here. Make sure you keep the comma in between them, select 100, go to the pick whip and bring that to slider control 2. I'll hit enter on keyboard here and you'll see what happens is it goes back to not wiggling. That's because the slider controls are set to 0. So the 2 numbers on the wiggle effect are essentially 0, 0, so nothing's happening. And so now what we'll do is we'll go to the teleport point here and we'll set a keyframe. So we'll hit the stopwatch on slider control 1 and slider control 2, and we'll set them to 10 each. And so now you'll see once this starts playing, the wiggle expression is back and it's kind of going constantly. We're gonna go back 3 frames from this spot and we're gonna set these both to 0. So now what you'll see is that the effect will not be on, and then it will quickly animate up to the wiggle, and the wiggle will stay. And so then what we're going to do now is we're going to set the keyframes for it to go back down to 0. And so what I had here is from that first keyframe where they're at 0, 0, we're going to go forward 21 frames, and we're going to bring these back down to 0. Again, like I mentioned before, play around with however long you want the wiggle to last, you know, how much you want it to be. You can make it more aggressive if you want, if that's what you're looking for. As you can see, once the wiggle is going on, you can see kind of like the transparent background kind of peeking in here. In this situation, let's bring up the scale. We're just going to adjust the scale from 100% to 101, and that should make it so that we don't see the background anymore. All right, yeah, I think that works. And that's the teleportation effect. Like I said, it's 3, simple built-in effects inside of After Effects. You have your turbulent, displace, CC glass, and glow. And then you add a camera shake to tie it all together, and there you go. Feel free to tweak and adjust, the different effects to your liking. You can make it more pronounced, you can make it more subtle, just have fun with it. And then like the final, finishing touch is just adding some sound design and some music just to help build the world and help just, sell everything together.
All right, let's get out of here. It worked.
All right, that's it for the tutorial. Thanks for watching. I hope you're able to get something out of this. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.